Sometimes we'll keep ourselves from going to the next level. We halt our dreams and desires because of a circumstance or something blocks us from stepping over the edge and diving into our futures. We stand on the edge of tomorrow. If we don't take the risk and step over the edge, we may never know what was waiting for us on the other side.
Currently rocking in the school of life. He is here talking about stuff and whatever's going on in his brain. You know it is 100% Bridget!
All right, here I am. It's me talking about living life and loving Jesus. I just want to say thank you to everybody that continues to hang out and listen and watch. Which reminds me, if you're watching on YouTube right now, feel free to click the like, click the subscribe button, and make sure to ring the bell so that you're getting notified whenever my next video pops up. That'd be greatly appreciated. And of course, I'm available all over audio podcasts, so Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, the whole shebang. I'm even on Pandora and other places that are available. I'm all over the place. Just search 100% Richard and look for the beard. And there I'll be. So, I got to get through all the stuff, and then I'm going to get right into something that I think is really important in life. And if you listen to the intro, you'll get it. So, real quick, if you want to support the channel, make sure to go to my links in the description, and you can get a T-shirt just like this. It says "Living Life, Loving Jesus." Got a motorcycle on it and stuff. These are all my own designs. It's RG Creative. Designs. Go check that out, and when you purchase merch, it helps out the channel. That's where the money goes, so I can keep up to date on equipment and things of that nature. And you can also check out wildbull.shop. That's going to be a link in the description. I use Wild Bull products to take care of my beard, and I use their body soap and all kinds of good stuff. Everything they do is 100% natural. It's all great stuff, and there's a coupon code there, WildBull100. Just go to wildbull.shop, use the coupon code WildBull100, and own your game. All right, so all the stuff's out of the way. I got to do all the stuff. Sometimes I just want to get into this and just keep going, and I got to do that in order to keep this thing going. So thank you for supporting me and all the stuff and being a part of 100% Richard. Just continue to thank everybody that listens and watches. And if you're supporting the channel by buying merchandise, make sure to check the links in the descriptions and all that stuff. So thank you again. So you ready? I'm ready. Are you ready to go? I'm ready to go. Let's go. Inside each and every one of us, deep down, there's a desire or a feeling or a need to do something bigger than ourselves. And I know sometimes we think, well, I'm just going to go through life. I'm just going to do the things. I'm going to pay my bills. I'm going to work for somebody else and all that kind of stuff. But really, there's always something inside that says, you know what, I want to be bigger than what I'm doing right now. I want to do something that's above and beyond me. And this desire or need is actually a passion for something that was built into us, built into each and every one of us by the Creator himself. It is something that we will find inside ourselves that we have to go after. And this is not the same for everybody. I know some people go, well, I'm going to be an actor. I'm going to be this. I'm going to be that. And that's all great. And that's all good. And maybe that's your passion and your desire, or maybe your passion and desire is to join a group of people that are creating things, or to start a business, or to be a teacher, or to, like I said, be an actor, or to do something that you feel is bigger than yourself. Or in some cases, maybe in Christianity world, you want to be a preacher, or you want to be a pastor, or you want to fall into these categories also. It's not necessarily what you want to do. It's where you want to be in life and how big you want yourself to be. And a lot of times we'll find ourselves blocking that, and I'll get into that in a little bit. Because it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what it is as long as it is bigger than you. It's something that you have to strive for. It's something that you have to push after. It's something that you have to go after in order to get it. And you really can't do it without the guidance and direction from somebody or something. And actually what this is the talent and the gift that each one of us actually possesses, that was actually given by God to us to do the thing that he has set up for us to do. The big desire, the big desire, I just said that, and I said that twice, but the big desire that's down inside of us is something that God's put inside of us. Even if you're not following God, you have something down inside of you that you just know you want to do that's bigger than what you're doing right now. Or maybe you're already in that thing. I know my wife's a teacher, and it was a desire from the time she was a child to be a teacher. And she finally got into being a teacher. That's what she does for a living, and she loves every minute of it. And she's living in that dream and that desire because of the gifts that were put down inside of her to be a teacher. And those are the kinds of things that we have to look at and go, hey, this is something that's down inside of me that I want to run after. I want to go get this. This is, like I said, this is the talent, the gift that each one of us already possesses. We just have to see it be pulled up and out of us. And usually it's God that will actually pull that up and get it out of us. Now, you've probably heard me speak about, I'm going to have a link up here to one of my shows. It's called Activation for Your Sphere. Go check that out, because I talk about your sphere of life in that. And so you heard me talk about our sphere of life. The sphere of life is the place where most of us will be using the gifts and talents that God's given us. It is within this space that we connect and give out our gift on an everyday basis. In this sphere, we lead, we direct, we follow, and influence people with our gift and talents all at the same time. So we lead, we follow, we direct, we do all that stuff at the same time. And in the process of this, we are actually being put on the path to our desires and dreams that God has placed inside of us. Unfortunately, this is what happens. Along the way, many of us will become discouraged or distracted because of some circumstance in life or some setback that we make and we end up making a mental decision that we'll never do the thing that we've always felt we can do, even though it is a deep down desire that we can't get rid of, no matter how we shake it. So what happens is, in life, things happen. We get sick. We have kids earlier than we planned. Things of that nature. A roadblock in life is not a stopping point. It is a mere detour that changes our direction, but it does not change our destination. The destination is always there. We may have to take a side path. We may have to change our direction every now and then. We may have to like Pastor Nico talked about, we may have to let the GPS re-guide us or take us a new way, recalculate the place that we're going. And we might find our path at the end of a cliff, so to speak. And this is when we have to find the will to do something that might seem a little drastic. We can turn back, or we can jump. When you find yourself at the edge of tomorrow, when you find yourself at the edge of the place, when you come to the end of your circumstance and you're like, I don't know what to do, we come to a choice where we can turn back or we can jump. When life comes to this point, and it will, I guarantee it, we will find ourselves in the dilemma of whether or not we want to go past the edge, if we want to cross the line, jump the bridge, or take the leap of faith, because that's really what it is. Every time we come to a place that starts to block the thing that we're going after, every time we come to a place that a circumstance or something that tries to stop us from going after our dream and our desire, we have to stop for a second and go, what am I going to do? Am I going to turn away from this? Am I going to run from this? Am I going to hide from this? Am I going to stop? Am I going to fall down? Am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? Where the reality is, we have to go, I can move forward. I can jump the bridge. I can take this leap of faith. And taking the leap of faith pushes you past your fears, your physical limits, and springboards you into tomorrow. We can stand on the edge of tomorrow, or we can jump into tomorrow. This will always be the choice, and it is always up to us. God knows where He wants us to go. He knows the direction that He's put us in. He knows our destination. He knows the place that He wants us to be at, and it's up to us to make the decision when we come to a roadblock, when we come to a place that we need breakthrough, when we come to a place that's starting to damage us on the inside. We need to find that thing. We need to say, hey, Jesus, take me to the next level. I'm going to take a leap of faith. I'm going to jump the bridge. I'm going to do something different in this situation, and I'm going to move forward in the thing that You have planned for me to do. And I'm going to run into that direction and change the place that I'm at so that I can move forward in the things that God has for me to do. We've all heard about Peter walking on water, Noah building a boat, John writing while on exile, while being in exile on an island. We heard about Jonah being swallowed by a big fish, Daniel in the lion's den, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego doing what? Going into a fiery furnace. They had to go beyond their regular place and move into greatness. Paul was shipwrecked, bitten by a snake. Joshua marched around Jericho. There are many examples in the Bible of people that have taken a leap of faith and believe so much that they can do the things that God said they can do that they actually stepped out and did it. Could you imagine for a minute Moses, multitudes of people guiding them to the promised land, handing it off to Joseph, handing that off to Joseph and saying, or Joshua, sorry, I got everything, I'm all mixed up, I'm all in, blah, blah, blah. It's okay. You see, because our destination doesn't change. You look at what Moses did. If he didn't raise his staff, all the Israelites would have died at the hands of the Pharaoh, right? The destination doesn't change. The place that God has for us to go doesn't change. Another leader may actually take you there. Something may shift in your life, and you may walk in the desert for 40 years to get where you need to go, but the destination itself doesn't change. But our path to get there may take several different directions along the way. We just have to trust God all the way through. We have to listen to Holy Spirit as he guides us and directs us. And while he's guiding us and directing us, we need to trust him, and we will see the path that we need to take until we find ourselves on the backside of faith. I'm going to pause there for a second because some people might go, what? Backside of faith? What the flip is that? Well, this is the backside of faith. I'm going to go to Hebrews 11, which we've probably all heard this at some point. If you're a churchgoer, if you're a Christian, you've probably read this. You've probably done something with this, and you've probably read this a million times. But this is Hebrews 11, 1 and 2. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it, the elders obtained a good testimony. This is the New King James Version. So, 1, the evidence of things not seen. That's faith. Yeah, that sounds easy, right? We have to understand that we don't always see what is on the other side. We don't know we personally, physically don't know what's next. So we don't always see what's on the other side, what is past the edge of tomorrow. But we must know that if we have faith, we will see the thing that we cannot see now. We cannot just focus on what is right now directly in front of us. We have to be able to see past the edge in order to leap into tomorrow, because that is where the evidence of your faith is located, on the other side. A great example of this is the third Indiana Jones installment. I believe it's The Last Crusade. They're going after the Holy Grail, and he comes to a cliff. He comes to a place, and he sees the opening on the other side, and he's thinking about all the things that he read. He's gone through all the clues that he's gone through, and he's doing all this stuff, and he realizes that the terminology leap of faith is in this section right here, and so he takes a step out, boom, and mixed in is a bridge that he just steps out on and walks across. But he had to take that leap of faith, otherwise he would have probably, tried all kinds of stuff and could have died. But if we don't take that step, we don't know what's there. But now I want you to look at verse 2. This is the New King James Version. For by it the elders obtained a good testimony. This is the New Living Translation. Through their faith, the people in days of old earned a good reputation. The Message translation says it like this: the act of faith is what distinguished our ancestors, set them above the crowd. The Passion Translation says it like this: this testimony of faith is what previous generations were commended for. You see, the backside of faith is the testimony of what happened when you jumped off the edge of tomorrow and actually landed in tomorrow. It is the stories of what you did to get where you are going. We may have to stand on the edge of tomorrow several times to get to where we need to be, and every time we do, we have a story to tell. And every time we tell the story, the people around us are encouraged. And we see that we are leading, directing, following, and influencing because of our gift. And we are, because of our gift, and we are moving in the gift that God gave us. You see, the story is the evidence of the thing you couldn't see to begin with. When you get to the edge, I'm going to put it this way. you've probably heard this. If you listen to the show at all, you've heard this a couple times. I pastored a church for 5 years. I was assistant pastor. I was a youth pastor. I did all that kind of stuff, and all of that came to an abrupt end. There was something changed in the direction that I was headed, and my destination hasn't changed. I still do the things that God called me to do. I still do all that kind of stuff. Doing this is part of that, but I came to a point where I was like, I don't know what to do now. I'm scared. I'm nervous. I don't know anything. And then it came to me, start a podcast. You can still do what God calls you to do. You can still speak the word of God to people. You can still preach the gospel to people, and you just do it in a different fashion. You can still do it in a different way. And you found a way to use my gift in the same destination that God has for me to go in, and I could move forward in those kinds of things. And I couldn't see what was next, and suddenly I was in what was next, and I'm doing it right now. I'm in the place that God wants me to be. I'm doing it right now as we speak. I've had the opportunities to speak on stage again. I've had all these things that have come to fruition because I was willing to jump off the edge of tomorrow and step into the future that God has for me to do. And this is the direction that I believe God will take me and move me forward in. And I could use that as an example to come up out of a depressional state and say, hey, what is something that I could do, God, that I can move forward in the thing that you've called me to do? And he said, do this. And I said, okay. And I stepped out in that, and now it's become a story. I couldn't see it, but now I'm in it. I can physically see what I couldn't see before because I was willing to jump over the bridge. I was willing to step into tomorrow. I was willing to jump. And when I was standing on the edge of tomorrow, I was willing to jump and do something different. And I know that standing on the edge of tomorrow can be a frightening thing for us. But for God, it is simply the next step. God's given us all the tools we need to succeed in life. We just need to learn to use the tools, and with the proper tool in your hand, a little work and learning, we can fix anything or build anything. We will never see where we could have been if we don't take the leap. And we can never tell someone what we've accomplished if we don't finish. When we find ourselves on the edge of tomorrow, our future is just a leap away. A leap of faith that will drive you into the next thing. And with every leap of faith, you will find yourself living on the backside of faith, where the stories of your life adventures will help drive and encourage others to take the same leap. If you want to walk on water, you have to step out of the boat. If you want to part the Red Sea, you have to hold up your staff. If you want the walls to fall, you have to shout at the designated time. If you want the world to change, you have to raise your voice. If you want your dreams and desires to come to fruition, you will have to take the leap into tomorrow. If you want to tell the stories of how you did it and made it happen, you have to believe that you can see the evidence of your direction before you even get there. That is faith. And your stories of how you stood at the edge of tomorrow and jumped are the backside of faith. Don't just stand on the edge of tomorrow looking out. Take a leap and see what happens. Right on, right on.